Hello guys, and welcome back to the Azure Files. Feels great to be back.
That's good, hey?
Thanks for bringing your phone once again. It really does help us.
Listen, yeah, I have an Apple t-shirt.
Yeah, so I chose the Apple t-shirt because an episode back I wore the little shirt with an Android eating the apple. And I got some flack about it with guys saying, but you wore an Apple Watch and you had an iPhone. And then the truth be told is that, yes guys, I am an Apple person.
Wasn't it Taylor Swift that said haters are gonna hate?
The fact that you know that concerns me a little bit. But maybe tell us a little bit why you chose that.
This is just classic. The older generation will appreciate this.
Okay.
Metal versus plastic.
I feel like the older generation's your excuse for every t-shirt you wear. But
dude, you can't. The classics.
But that does make a bit of sense to me, because isn't this like metal rock?
There we go. There we go.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I believe you might have a question for us.
I actually might, hey? I actually might. Well, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Xavier in Melrose writes, I wonder if it's Charles. Now, you wouldn't be asking the question then, hey?
Bad joke once again.
No. Gents, I need to make a case to my board of directors for cloud and want to be super attractive. The case, or I don't know. How do I figure out how much resources I need? I have a pretty good handle on the real world stuff though. Help.
Okay.
So I think this is more of a sizing question, which we get quite often, because guys, when we've seen it, when they size, they take their current on-prem, times it by 2, add 3, and then add another one just to be safe. Which, when you put that in Azure, kind of blows your bill skyrocket out the
yeah, and
water.
I mean, you were at TC once before. You know what that was like in terms of building that kind of stuff out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the cloud has changed your perspective quite a bit on that.
It has.
So I think let's look at it from a business perspective now.
Yeah.
We had a lot of discussions around speeds and fees and all that kind of stuff. But I think from a business perspective, this is where we really start to get into the benefit.
Because in essence, that's where you pitch Azure to, the business, not to the techie.
100%. And if you look at if you put yourself in the board situation, what do you want to see? You want to see the latest and greatest. You want to see something that helps you scale and optimize what you do. It needs to deliver your service to the business with the least cost.
That's it.
And some things that achieve that are things like less administration, pay-as-you-use models. These are the kind of things that we start looking at that start benefiting the business, not just you as an IT manager or you as a CIO or all that kind of stuff. So now you really get to design and build proper digital strategy for your business when you need it. So when we talk about things like sizing in Azure, we look at what we're currently using and we build on that. Okay, and what it allows us to do is also, it allows us to sort of predict outcomes with the analytics we can pull. So I mean, the reporting and stuff like that that's already in Azure that is sort of not paid for kind of stuff provides you with quite a bit of insight that you can start now predicting outcomes a little bit better than what you could. You know, your capacity planning in Azure when it comes to storage media, when it comes to compute, when it comes to RAM, all of that kind of stuff, it all becomes very easy to predict. Cool guys, let's deploy this kind of server. If the RAM's not enough, we know we can scale up. Let's go completely away from server. What are the cost benefits from not using a server? Well, we save on Windows licensing. We save on a whole bunch of feature sets that are built into an app as a service kind of model.
All the cool stuff we've covered in previous episodes.
100%. All the stuff that we've covered in previous episodes. How do we start bundling this now and taking it to a business as a full solution is, I think, Xavier's question here. And the question around that is to look at each use of each system in your business. And let's look at the deployment on how it would look in Azure. Let's test it, let's run it. Let's see if we can save a lot of compute power. Let's see, sometimes we see that there's a machine that's using more RAM than CPU. So we would use a memory optimized virtual machine that would now sort of get to a cost benefit. We could look at something that uses more CPU. So we'll then run a CPU optimized virtual machine to help us with the cost saving. But there's something that you were delving in today, and it's got 2 letters attached to it. It says RI. I don't know if you want to chat about that, because that's quite exciting.
So reserved instances.
Yes.
So what that allows you to do is, if I know I'm going to run a certain workload for a period of time, Microsoft will actually give you a better price on that. So I can commit on a 1-year or 3-year commit, and then obviously my bill is going to be a lot cheaper because I've committed to a 3-year on that workload, which is quite cool. Which has actually been finally released in CSP in South Africa.
What does that mean for business? That means that, okay, I know I'm going to need a machine like this for at least a year. Let me lock it in. Let me commit that to Microsoft and leverage off a better price point. I think that's brilliant that Microsoft brought that out. I already know we've got a strong demand for this.
That's it.
In CSP, and I think that the deployment is exactly the same. Nothing changes, and you don't lose your scalability. And this is the big benefit.
That is the cool thing.
Is that you know, like if I think about it, if you go and buy a server, if you go buy a hardware server, you essentially committing to that server for more than a year, maybe 5 years. Okay, but what happens when you hit capacity? You've got to go buy another server. It's more capex. Whereas if you hit capacity in RI, you don't lose the ability to scale up. You just reconfirm your commitment to Microsoft
exactly.
on that workload, which I think is a massive benefit. So I think maybe look at RI from a business perspective, and maybe talk to your business guys about that. But what we would also do at Tarsus, and we do this for a lot of our customers, is that we help our partners build business cases because we understand the ins and outs, the businesses. We've seen people show us how to save money as well. So we know the ins and outs of building the business cases and taking it from there.
So that's cool. Xavier, I hope that answers your question. If not, drop us a line. Let us come have a meeting with you and your board and let us sell the solution for you.
100%.
So as we normally end with the geeky fact of the week, I got it right this time.
Well
the
done.
whole season, and I finally get it right.
Well done.
Okay. Did you know that as of July this year, Microsoft has a global data center footprint of 54 regions?
Jeez, yeah.
Okay. I think they've got one in every region except Antarctica.
I think what's an interesting geeky fact on top of your geeky fact is that when we started the show, Microsoft only had 48. So in the space of about a season and a half, they've added a few more data centers, which is quite...
Which means we should be doing more seasons, because then Microsoft will be adding more.
I think we're still trying to get rights to shoot in one of those data centers, but maybe we'll get that right.
We'll make a plan. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please send us your comments and let us get answers. And don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe.